Welcome to Jordan Morrison Racing. I love cars, motorbikes, anything with an engine. Good morning guys, and welcome to a very sunny Alton Park, and today I've been invited by MLP Developments. Now MLP Developments are a race team and they race in a Production GTi Championship. They have two cars and they are Mk2 GOLFS. We're going to be speaking to Luke, who's the team owner of MLP, and he'll tell us what's involved with being an owner of a race team and where this race team is going for the future. From there, I'll also be speaking to the driver of one of the cars, which is Wes, and Wes will be telling me about what's involved in racing, how he got his race licence, and what are the plans for the future. So stay tuned, hopefully we'll get out in a car at some point, and enjoy. So I'm here with Luke from MLP Developments. How are you doing, Luke?
I'm good, thanks, Jordan. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and what a great day we've got for it today.
It's amazing. We've really dropped on with the weather today.
We've been very, very lucky. So, you know, let's get into it. Basically, we're not just on a track day here today, are we?
No, we're looking ahead to the forthcoming Production GTi season. And one of the aims today is just to make sure that all our cars are set up and exactly how we like them, the drivers are happy with the balance, and that everything mechanically is held together.
So for MLP Developments, this is basically training, practice, testing for the season ahead.
Yeah, it's our big run for the first season, just to set ourselves on a good footing for the best year, hopefully, that we can have.
So what race championship is this that you're taking part in?
We're racing in the TK Couplings Production GTi Championship. It's the only series in the country where Mk2 GOLFS can race together on track, so it's quite big amongst the enthusiasts.
It's pretty cool as well, isn't it? You know, old classic cars now. I mean, what are these pushing? Probably 30 years old, some of them.
Yeah, so I think this car's a 1988 model, so it is progressing in age. Yes, definitely. But
and how many cars have you got under MLP Development?
We have the two cars here today. We also have a third, the number 44 car, which is driven by Pete Milne, who was our main championship contender last year. Finished third in the championship, so we're pleased with that and hoping for another couple of spots better this season.
So what's your part within this team? Like, what do you actually do? Do you drive the cars? Do you sit back? Or, you know, what?
No, my role is team manager and race engineer.
So 2019, going into the season, are there big changes? Are there big plans?
As far as our driver lineup is, everything is exactly the same. Obviously we have championship aspirations, and we're hoping to do as well as we possibly can. We're hoping for the number 25 car to be out in some rounds, driven by Wes.
This is Wes's, isn't it?
This is
Wes,
Wes,
we're going to speak to Wes later about his car. So with it being obviously racing, you've got certain specs that you've got to keep within for these cars, haven't you, to race? What sort of spec are we looking at for these cars?
The regulations are very, very tight. It is the Production GTi Championship, so the cars are pretty much production spec. You can blueprint the engine, you can't go crazy with brakes or suspension. It's really, really close to most cars.
It makes racing very fair, doesn't it, at the end of the day?
The racing is very, very tight, very, very, very fair. It's door to door, wheel to wheel, and there's a lot depending on driver talent.
So eventually I want to race one day, and I know it becomes very expensive. I mean, what type of figures are we looking at roughly to actually race in this championship?
For race entry fees, you're looking around £2,000 a season, with a club joining fee of £200. So that signs you up for track activity side, and of course the money you spend on the car is as much as you can afford in reality.
And people obviously watching this will be like, well, what does a car cost? I mean, what price are we looking at for the car and building it, you know?
The build costs of a car, if you were to start from scratch, are between, for a Mk2 GOLF, £2,000 to £3,000. Yeah. But obviously you can go above and beyond that depending on what spec you intend to build the car to.
It's relatively affordable, isn't it?
As far as motor racing goes, it's one of the more budget end championships. Yeah. So the organisers do try and cap the cost and keep the keep the overheads down for the competitors.
Now, so you know, as a race team, you're pretty much set up. You're ready to go. You just need that extra sponsorship, I think.
Yes, we won the 8-valve championship in 2017 and had a podium finish last year with the 16 valves, and we're looking forward to a strong 2019 campaign. We want to carry the momentum forward. We've had WOWO on board as a sponsor since our outset, and also Trackday, who are an exhaust manufacturer, and we use them in all our championship campaigns, so we're very pleased to have them as a partner. But there are sponsorship opportunities on the car.
Yeah.
The meetings this year will be televised, so there's good coverage opportunities open to anyone who's interested.
So like you said, in terms of sponsorship, people can have the livery potentially on the car, that'll be televised, and that can be advertisement for them as well, can't it?
Yeah, it is. We obviously there's livery on the car, there's team clothing, we have a website and a large social media following, so we have good outlets all around the country, yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Luke. I think what we'll do is we'll get out of the car at some point. How do you, Wes? You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright, thank you.
How was that, alright?
Yeah, good.
So I spoke to Luke, obviously, from a manager's point of view, but I thought for the viewers especially it'd be good to speak to a person that actually gets in the car and races now.
Yeah.
I mean, when did you start racing?
I started racing in 2015. We built a car just out of curiosity, really, and we turned up at the grid having never done a track day, and started racing.
So basically you threw yourself straight into the deep end?
That's it, yeah.
No practice, no nothing?
No, nothing.
Have you always been into racing, or did you just fancy? Is it a midlife crisis? Is it what? Or,
Well, we always race bikes.
Right.
We race bikes. Me and Matt, who drives the other car, from being sort of 9 years old until we were like 30, and then
brought your passion into cars.
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm right in thinking that this Mk2 is your first race car?
It is, yeah.
So this is your baby then, really?
Yeah, that's it.
Do you want to tell us a bit about her?
Yeah, well, they're all built to a certain standard, and they try to keep them competitive with each other, you know, so that there's not one car getting away with having more power or better parts or anything like that. So they're a 16-valve GTi. They're all around 30 years old now. They have adjustable dampers and a power limit on the engine to keep everything fair. Yeah.
So getting into racing, how did you start? Because obviously, like from my point of view, I've done track days before and I know what's involved. But for people that are watching, they're a bit like you didn't do track days. You just went straight into racing. So how did you do that?
I looked on the internet and found out a little bit of information about the championship, and I spoke to the series coordinator, Rob Sadler, and he was quite helpful in providing me with information about what I needed to do. And then at that point I applied for my MSA, to do my arts test.
Yeah. So you got your MSA license, and then you did your arts test, and then that was it, basically, straight into the car.
That's it, yeah.
And a lot of money later, obviously.
Well,
but
yeah.
But it's worth it, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, the actual benefits of racing. I mean, I bet you've had some proper highs, haven't you?
Absolutely, yeah. When everything goes right on the day, there's nothing like it at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes it's a very long drive home when there's been a problem or you've had an accident, or you know, it can be quite tense.
And what's the difference, like, as a viewer watching now, and especially for me, I've never raced in a competitive environment, like, you know, you've been in that environment. What is the difference for people doing track days to people actually racing?
I think that in a racing environment, you will push everything that much further than you would on a track day, because sometimes on a track day you want to go home in the car, or and your competitive edge definitely comes out. The difference between a track day and a test day or a race day is, if you were to say hold your hand a metre away from your face and then hold it 2 inches away, then that's the sort of elevation in, you know, in yeah. Racing in general is it's fantastic and it's amazing, but it's very unforgiving, and quite a lot of times prior to a race meeting, we'll work all through the night, and then we'll drive to the other end of the country to make sure that the car's right and the best it can be.
It's quite demanding, isn't it, on the body, mentally and physically,
Absolutely,
I suppose,
yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
I mean, I've been on a track day and I've come off and I'm absolutely knackered because of the concentration. So God knows what it's like to actually race in, say, a 20-minute series when, like you said, you're pushing yourself, you're pushing the limits of the car and also your concentration and you know, your physical status as well. So what are your plans for the future now, especially with the Mk2, or is there other plans?
At the moment, currently, we're all about the Mk2. The Production GTi Championship's going from strength to strength. There's Mk5 Production GTi as well, so a lot of exciting things happening there. I think going forward, we would like to run side by side a Citroen C1 in the endurance racing teams. And we would maybe be able to import some different drivers then.
Okay, so there's opportunities there potentially
right,
for people. What's been your scariest moment in racing?
I had a scary moment at Alton Park here in 2016.
Right.
I dieted all through the winter and lost 2 stone to make...
So you're really into it, aren't you, first of all? Do you know what I mean? Because like you said, you've dieted to get ready for the race, lose them extra pounds, get a bit fitter.
Yeah.
So go on, back to...
So I lost 2 stone, we had the car bang on the minimum weight limit, everything was great, I qualified on pole, and I didn't get around the first corner in the race, and the car was a complete wreck.
Oh really?
So, yeah,
lost it on the first corner?
Yeah, yeah, I got pushed out, and it happens,
yeah,
but
yeah,
they're the highs and lows
yeah,
that we talked about.
And what was a high, like you said, getting on pole potentially for
Absolutely,
that?
yeah. We travelled all the way to Zolder a couple of years ago in Belgium, and he had 2 class wins there, which was
Fantastic.
great.
Yeah. Is it right to say your heart and soul is in this car?
Yeah,
as such?
yeah. It's very personal when something goes wrong, or you know, and it's very personal as well when things go right. So
yeah, no, definitely. But no, thank you very much for talking about it, and I think we'll either get back out on track or have a look around. But yeah, nice one, Wes. Thank you very much, bud. So you've got your MSA license, you need your eyes. Okay. So ignore me. Okay, is everyone ready? It's ridiculous.
Something's better now. Yeah. Than it did when we started.
Yeah. Everything's warmed up. That was good for me. That was fucking great. Absolutely love that. I underestimated the grip and the suspension on these cars.
It might not be the fastest car, but it certainly goes around the corners.
Because you're carrying the speed through already. Yeah. They're just absolutely yeah, you can tell it just loves it.
When we race against the Mark 5s,
yeah,
these are actually better around the corners.
Really? Oh. Mark 5's a big lumpy thing.
Yeah, that's it. They're a bit more stable and hard as well, the Mark 5s, so they tend to run on a bit. But,
oh, mate.
Yeah, good fun.
Bloody hell, bud. Nice one, mate. I well enjoyed that. I got a big grin on my face. Howdy guys, so that's a wrap for today. I've had a fantastic day with MLP Development, and hopefully we'll give you guys an insight into actually racing and what's involved, both in their two Mk2 GOLFS. We've had an easy day with no issues at all. We're all loaded up on the trailers, ready to go. All the best. Bye bye bye.